Good Tuesday morning. How you doing? Well, I want to show you some of the stuff that Dave sent me. And first of all, I want to thank all of you kind viewers out there that have had such kind words to express to Dave for donating all this stuff to me. And I sure do appreciate it. As well as I sure do appreciate Dave giving this stuff to me. And it's going to be hard in this shop here because I got no room for anything. But I want to show you some of the items more on close-up and little videos. Not every item, of course. And I made the clip yesterday was showing you the Hickok 600A, but somehow the clip never got into the video. I don't know what happened. Editing, you know, you got to have your head together, and I don't always have it together. So I want to thank all of you for your very kind comments, and again, I want to thank you, Dave, for giving me all this. I played around with the Regal model DS 1052E, and I watched some YouTube videos on it. There was one fellow, he had an accent, and it was kind of hard to understand. And he was pushing buttons all over the place and explaining, but I'm lost. I noticed that some of these buttons here, you can't see it from here, and I'll get closer after, seem to, they all push in. None of them pull out, but they all push in and click. But I really don't know what that means, you know. I managed to get a display on channel A. On channel B, there was all kinds of distortion and stuff, even though I had the same signal. There don't seem to be a separate volts per division for channel A or channel B. The manual I have right here, it's a little tiny manual, but it's all in Chinese, and it's only about 9 pages. So I tried to download the manual for this, and it's 177 pages. It would take me 10 years to read the darn thing. Using a digital oscilloscope is learning all over again how to use an oscilloscope. I'm not 100%, I'll be honest, I'm not 100% knowledgeable on an analog scope in its entirety, like delayed time-based sweep and stuff like that, like on the 465B. I don't use those features. I just use, basically on a dual channel scope, I just use one channel. I have no need to use 2 channels. I don't. Maybe if I was doing a stereo amplifier and wanted to compare one channel to the other for distortion, I probably would, but I never had that opportunity to do that, so I didn't. So a digital scope is very, I don't care what anybody says, it's very, very complicated. And it's a completely different animal than an analog scope. I've been told by Jim, he said, to get rid of all your analog scopes and you'll love this. Well, it's going to take me years to learn how to use it. I think this came out in 2015, and I don't think it was ever used. If it was very little used. There's no original box, but all the books that came with it, including the probes, are all written in Chinese, every one of them. But the good thing is the display is in English, so that's one good thing. But even if I had the manual, and I can't print out the manual. It's 177 pages, and my new printer with the little ink cartridge, what little I used it, it's out of ink already. So I tried to try to get a manual on eBay. They don't have them. They sell the scopes on eBay, but they don't have the manual. But even if I had the manual, it would take a Philadelphia lawyer to understand it. However, I'm able to get channel A and I get a display. I can put my signal generator in and I can read the frequency. I can see the waveform. As far as the triggering, I'm not quite sure how that works on this. It's completely different than what I'm used to on an analog scope. But it's a big learning curve, and I'll stay at it, but it's going to take me a while. So enough talking. I want to get you a close-up of this, and I want to get you a close-up of the Hickok. Not going to spend a lot of time, but I got to get this off the bench. And I got to be careful because I got the screws out of this in case I had to calibrate it, but I'm not going to mess around with it. On the Hickok 600A, I don't see any adjustments for calibration, and I'm not about to turn controls, you know. Before I start showing something here, and the stuff that I got, as I mentioned in the video yesterday, the stuff that I don't need or can't use, like the kits and things, I'm going to donate. I'm going to send it to some of my viewers. Like I say, maybe Doug, maybe one or two others, I don't know yet. I have to go through. I think there are 2 kits in there. And one of them white boards where you plug components in. I don't use those things. And that's all small microscopic stuff for me. Now, years ago in the 70s, yeah, I would have used it, but it's foolish to hang on to the stuff. And Dave had no problem. He emailed me and told me he had no problem, you know, what you don't need, put on eBay. Well, I would never do that. First of all, I can't sell on eBay. I won't sell on eBay, but I don't feel it's right to sell a gift. That's not what I would do. I would give it away, but I would not sell it. So, however, the stuff that I don't use, I will, within reason, and I say within reason, it all depends on how far it's got to go and how heavy it is. An item like a little kit or something, no problem. I got something I've been thinking about for quite a while. Now that I got this, and I got the Radio City Products Model 308 1939 tube tester over here that tests the old tubes, I'm thinking of giving the Night 600 to Dan of Cool Blue Lights. He does not have a tester to test the older tubes. He has, I'm not sure, he told me, I think it's a 667 B&K or ICO or whatever it is, I don't know, not familiar with it, but it tests the new tubes. I think Dan could use this. I never could figure out how to set that tube tester up right. Doug has helped me in the past. The book and the roll chart are completely different, and the gas test on that is extremely difficult to set up. Maybe with somebody with a little more brains than me, like Dan, would be able to use it. I haven't really used it that much. It's over here on the behind the camera, and if I'm donated, but I'll tell you right up front, Dan. You'll have to pick it up. I can't afford to send that out to you. It would, even though it's only going to upstate New York, if you could pick it up, believe me, if I had this here, this Hickok at the time you were here, I didn't have it then, I would have given it to you right then and there. So I've been thinking about this for a while. I said to myself, and myself answered, yes, self. You're not using that Knight 600 anyways, why not give it to Dan? It's my way of giving back to my viewers. I'm not asking for money. I don't want any money for it. I bought it at Jewett City. I had to repair the case and painted it. Cleaned it up, got it working. It was basically working very well. It does work. The meter's working good on it. And it's not bad testing tubes. It's just that the gas test is extremely difficult to figure out how to use because the instructions are very vague. I have the book on it. I have the Coltronics book, which does not agree with the roll chart, and I still say the roll chart came with the tester. That's what you use, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm concentrating on using the Hickok. The Hickok will do the same older tubes, and the Knight 600 does the older tubes, as well as the 7-pin and 9-pin miniatures, and the 8-pin octals. So it's a good tube tester. So Dan, get back to me on this by email or whatever, and if you can come and pick it up, okay. I might even give you a Hackbar's cane, because Hackbar needs a cane. If you want to do that skit, the character Hackbar has to have a cane. That's why he keeps falling down. All right, enough of that. So that's what I'm going to do throughout time, as time goes. I can't do this all at once. It takes, I got to have the money to send out this stuff for you. I don't have any problem mailing out little items. Not at all. It's when I have to go across country with a large item that's become the problem. So the tube tester for Dan of Cool Blue Lights, I'm going to donate it to him if he wants it, but he must pick it up. And I'm sure sometime during the year, either before or after my surgery, make arrangements, you come and get it. I cannot ship that to you. It's too expensive. As much as I'd like to, I can't do it. So I'm more than happy to give it to you because I'm not using it. Let's face it, I'm not using it. And it's a shame to just let it sit there, taking up shop space. Well, I can get that out of here and I can put the Hickok 600A on the little table over here and then put the B&K 606 on top of it and then my GE Super Radio on top of that. Okay, this is the Hickok 600A that Dave sent me a little over a week ago, and he told me that he wanted me to have this. Roll chart works great. It's just that I can't. Sometimes the information, like the 1S5, is way over here. So I printed out the setup data, and I think I showed you that. I don't remember now. I make so many videos and change things so much that I can't keep track of what I made and what I didn't. It works very well. Very little wear, if any at all. This is where you usually notice the wear when the tube tester is used a lot. And the short switch here. Everything works very well. What I have to do for spares, there's an 81 fuse lamp here. I don't have an 81. It's an automotive bulb. I don't even know. I'm afraid to order another one for a spare because everything's made in China and Chinese is junk. I want an American-made 81, an American-made 49. I don't have either one in case I need them. When I had my Hickok 6000A years ago, I never had to replace these anyways, but it's nice to have it on hand. And of course your regular neon bulb, I'm not sure what that is, NE51 maybe, I don't know. But anyways, it's very good. I like the tester, and David put on a 3-prong plug because he did an excellent job. I mean, I looked in here, and it's like mint condition inside as well as outside. Case is really, really nice. And he did a professional job putting this in. And it's good because when I had my 6000A in the attic workshop, even though it was in the attic, if you got the plug reversed, because it's only a 2-prong plug, I can feel a little tingling on the chassis when I run my hand like this. So I always felt that these chassis, the front plates, should be grounded. So with this cord in here, it is. And you can see the tag there. You may or may not be able to see the serial number. It's in very good shape. There's just a little blemish there, but the case is in really, really nice shape. I got too much stuff in this shop. There's my capacitor wizard. I'm going to go over some of this stuff in a while here. Okay, I got the Hickok over here. I hope I don't kick into it. I'll tell you, I just don't have any room in this shop. Here's the Radio City Products Model 308 1939 tube tester. Here is the Knight 600, which I redone the case on. I had a big hole in the side when I got it from Jewish City. Redone all that with Bondo and everything. You'd never know it had a hole in it, and painted it black. I figure if I can get rid of this, give this to Dan. This is my B&K 606. Then I can put the Hickok 6000A right here. This tabletop is long enough. Tube tester comes out to about here. And then put this on top of it, and the GE Super Radio on top of that. So that's the story there. Okay, this is the book that came with the Regal, and you can plainly see it's all in Chinese. Can't seem to keep it in view here. I don't think it's the regular instruction book anyways. I know about the calibration of the probes. The probes that Dave sent me are in calibration. And there's something about a ribbon cable in the back here. I'm not going to hook this to the computer or anything. There's no point in worrying about that. Now this also came with it. This is the... I can't seem to get into camera here. That damn parallax error. Alright, this is the book on that. And the compensation, I know about that. And how to use it and set it up. Again, it's in Chinese. More in Chinese. Don't really know. And software disk, which I'm not going to use any of this because I have no intention of hooking it to the computer. I don't understand that, saving waveforms and stuff. I'm not into that. You know, I don't know anything about it, and I don't want to know. I just want an oscilloscope that I can use on the bench. Okay, I got it ready to fire up. Now, I don't understand any of this. I watched I watched about 3 YouTube videos on this stuff, on this particular scope. And I know as much now as before I watched the videos. You know, these are great if you grew up in the digital age or started in the digital age, even if you are older. Just checking here. I'm just putting my finger near the input here. It's quite sensitive. Yeah. I don't understand any of this, how this works. You know. And the guy was just going through all the buttons, but I don't understand any of it. Right now, I've got a coax connected to my function generator. I have tried my signal generators on it, other than the very badly distorted waveform, which these signal generators. I've got the Accurate Instrument, the one I bought at the ham auction a few years ago for a few dollars and restored. That's got a horrible distorted waveform, but that always did. And so does the ICO 324. I'm on my function generator now, and I'm going to put that signal into the channel A, and damn power cord keeps getting in the way of the buttons here. It's a nuisance with these lines up in the vertical lines here. I really don't understand how to use this. This is, as I said, this is a completely different scope altogether. Just because you can run an analog scope does not mean you can run this. That's my opinion. My opinion is like a bunghole. Everybody's got one. And I'm not really good at analog scopes, but I'm a heck of a lot better than trying to figure this thing out. I don't understand this, any of this. The guy was pushing buttons all over the place. He had an accent, and it was kind of difficult. His words were, in my ears, I don't have good ears either. In my ears, I couldn't quite understand what he was saying on most of the things. I can't seem to get somebody that really speaks clearly and slowly. I was always taught by somebody who spoke reasonably slow, because I got a slow mind, and to give me time to absorb it and explain better. And nobody seems to do that right, you know? Maybe I should find out if Buddy of Radio Shop maybe can explain how a digital oscilloscope works, because when he explains things clearly and slowly, and I can grasp it. Although he's been working on ham gear and stuff, and a lot of that I don't understand anyways. But I'm having a hell of a time with this cord getting in the way of the camera here. So, at the risk of getting my big ugly head in the way, the frequency jumping all over the place. You may not be able to see that. Let me see if I can get you a little closer here. There's a frequency here and there's a frequency here. Get my head in the way, I'm sorry. 6.0, then it's 5 point something. Here it's 3 and 7. It's all over the place. It's all over the place. Let's see if the triggering. This is a nuisance, these here. They're markers of some kind, but now he was going all over the thing and pushing buttons all over the place, and I don't know. I have no idea what it's like learning math. I can't absorb it, you know? So when I use an oscilloscope, I only use one channel. That's why the Tektronix 465B that I have, which has a dead right channel, a dead channel B, I don't use it anyways. I don't use the delayed sweep or anything else. I don't understand that, to be honest with you. And I've used oscilloscopes ever since I started in electronics. But only for the basics. The viewing a waveform, viewing an amplitude, and I don't even use it for measuring frequency. I'll use a frequency counter. It's a lot easier, a lot quicker. So I really don't know what I'm reading here. I really don't know. And I'm only on channel 8. Oh, I knocked it off. I pushed the power button. Sorry about that. Now we got to wait for it to boot up again. All right. Now if I can remember not to turn it off here, let me try. Nope, that's not the one I wanted. Oh yeah, it is. Channel 2, okay. Okay. I'm still getting the signal in channel 1. I guess because I'm connected to channel 1. Okay, take channel 1 out. Okay, there's channel B. I'm not getting anything on channel B. Same signal's going in. Wait a minute, now let's check the position, up and down. Now there's the baseline right there. Now it's up here. Man, this thing is confusing. Let's try this. Let me back off because you might not be able to see what I'm trying to do here. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm on channel B. You know, I have to laugh. The guy he had about I don't know, almost a half an hour video, and he says, big letters easy. Yeah, when they say easy, it means hard, difficult. Digital oscilloscopes are extremely complicated to use. Now, I guess after a while, once you learn it, I'm sure it's easy. But you know, throughout life, things are difficult. In spite of what people say, there are just some things that are just too hard for certain people to grasp. So, let's not mess around with the right channel. Let's just concentrate on the B, and we'll shut the... You have to hit that twice to make that go off. Okay, we're back on the left channel. We'll get that traced down. Now, that is irritating. Those vertical lines are irritating. They're jumping all over the place. Now, this guy showed that if you move this line here, which is the heck is they call that? Triggering level, which he moved. It's supposed to stop the trace. It don't in this case. It's just going all over the place. Now, if I push this button and this becomes red up here, I don't even think you can see that. No, I gotta back off. Okay, all right, I'm changing the sweep rate, just like an analog scope. I can see it, and I can turn the gain up a little bit and bring this down. Now, why is that distorted? That's a sine wave coming out of my function generator, which is sine wave. It was a sine wave yesterday, but it isn't now. Let me turn this back. You see that line going up? I'm moving the trigger. Well, on this guy's video, the display was stationary. You know what? Give me a good old analog, easy to use scope any day. That's why I like the older scopes. They were simple, the analog. Even the 465B is confusing to use. But all I use is one channel anyways. So I don't need all these doodads on here, but I appreciate it. But I'm only going to use about 10% of the scope. I use what I can understand, as long as I can get a waveform, but I'm having difficulties here, and I got the gain down. Let me see where my signal generator is generating. It's reading. I really don't know what it's reading. 50 cycles. Now it doesn't make any. It's reading some kind of 8 point and about 6 places over. I don't understand it. Over here, getting 2 different readings here. I had the frequency on here yesterday, but I don't know what I did. I'm just playing around with buttons. The buttons click. This clicks. I don't know what that means. This push, when you push this in, this clicks. No idea what that means. And if I got the book, I wouldn't understand it. I'd be more confused. This clicks. Every one of these knobs clicks, but I don't know what that means. Even the trigger clicks. The only way I'm going to learn how to use this is I got to have a teacher with me. It's just like computer, like video editing. I need somebody right there with me telling me how to do it. So that there's no way a video is going to help me use it. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate it. Oh, I knocked it off again. Okay, well, that's it on that. Okay, let's check out the capacitor wizard. Shango 66 has one of these, and he uses it a lot. Matter of fact, it becomes a low ohm meter also. So, just for the heck of it, let's compare the difference between the blue ESR, which my wife got me a few years back for Christmas, and the capacitor wizard. I like the capacitor wizard because you don't have to set it to 0 or do anything. It just works. Just turn it on. So let's get it out of the box and check it out. Okay. No instructions with it, but I don't think it's all that hard to use. I was playing around with it, and basically you've got a low battery light, you've got a 0 adjust, and a beep adjust right here. I don't know what kind of batteries it has in it, but it does have batteries. So put this on. Okay, let's get this on the bench here and let's run it through its paces. Okay, there's a very sharp points here. Can you hear the beep? Even that frequency I can hear. Some of the digital multimeters, they have such a high pitch beep that I can't hear them. I have high frequency nerve loss in my ears and I can't hear very good. A lot of things I can't do anymore. So, okay, so I checked this out and I had a 1 ohm resistor and it read 1 ohm. So we got some capacitors here. Again, I got my reading glasses on, but I can't read that. take my word for it. I'm going to read it with a magnifier here, and I'll tell you what it is. It's a 47 microfarad at 63 volts. 47 microfarad at 63 volts. You notice there's both black probes. In other words, polarity don't matter. So let's go on that. And we're reading, what are we reading? A half an ohm? It's not beeping at a half ohm, no. But that's okay. That reads a half ohm. So 0.5 ohm. Okay? All right, let's shut this off. We'll stop the camera a minute. Here is my blue ESR meter that I got. My wife got me for Christmas a few years ago. So what we do, you put that on. You short the leads together. And you push the button until it's 0. Okay? Now let's see if we get 0.5 ohms on this. .62 on the ESR. What did I say? 47 microfarads, 63 volts? Pretty close. Short the leads again. We're back to still 0. Take my word for it. I know it's off camera. I'm always off camera. Here is a 50 volt 3300 microfarad. This is the one I used on my Rube Goldberg power supply when I was working on that garage radio. So let's test it with the blue ESR meter first. Before we do that, this has been sitting for a long time. We'll discharge it. I'll be right back. You always want to discharge your capacitor. Okay, we're shorted here on the leads, on the blue ESR. Now let's just see what this reads. This reads 0.01. 0.01, okay? ESR. That sounds like a very good ESR reading. As a matter of fact, it's moving quite a bit here from 0.00 to 0.01. Okay. Let's see what the capacitor wizard will read. And put that on. We'll put that on. Leads. That reads all the way over. So you'd say that that's shorter, but it's not. It's a good capacitor. Where am I here? Okay. So I would say that's fairly close on both of these instruments. Okay. Dave sent me this. It's a heat gun for shrink tubing. And when I remember telling you I couldn't read the wattage, but you can see it there. My eyes don't permit me to see it. But I think it's 350 watts. So it's really a A nice little unit, perfect for heat shrink. I haven't tried it yet, other than plugging it in. It really throws out the heat. So I sure do appreciate that. That'll really come in handy. Next we have the Fluke 177 meter, which I did try out briefly. We'll take it out of the box and we'll show you a little closer look at it. All right. True RMS. Models 175, 177, and 179. There's quite a bit to this manual here. Now, it has the batteries in it. I didn't see this, what it had, 4 batteries. Still recording? Okay. All right, so we're going to have to make room on the bench for this one. Where's my magnifier? Volts DC, hertz and volts. DC volts. Okay. DC volts. Let's get a, oh, this bench is so crowded. We'll try a used D-cell here. 1.512. 1.512 volts DC. And if you reverse the polarity, it should show a minus sign. Which it does. Okay. All right. 600 volts, I believe, is the highest it'll go. You got a 400 milliampere current and a 10 amp current max right here for measuring current. 400 milliamps and 10 amps. I think it'll measure frequency also. I have to look at the book to see millivolts AC right now because there's nothing going in it. Range, millivolts AC, volts AC, volts AC, volts AC. Well, it's showing here volts with a sine wave signal means AC, but also Hz for hertz, but I'm not sure. Oh, okay. That's the hertz right there. Now, with any of these meters, when you measure frequency, it doesn't tell you what the maximum voltage is. In other words, I want to measure, you know that the line frequency is 60 cycles here in the USA. But I'm always leery about when you got your meter set on hertz to measure frequency, is it safe to plug these leads in to your AC socket when you're measuring frequency? Now, how often would I measure frequency? No need to on the line voltage. So I'm always leery about that because I could damage the meter. There might be a voltage limit when this mode is on frequency. I have to study the book, and a lot of times they don't tell you that. But anyways, right now I don't have any of my instruments on. We're not going to go doing that. I'm just going to give you the rundown on it. Maybe we'll get you a little closer. To see it. Quite difficult to manipulate because I'm turning sideways. I'm on an awkward angle as always. Trying to show you everything. The real test is going to be in use. So we've got some information here of which I'm not even going to try to read. It's just too eye straining for me. We've got in here some huge clips. And banana plugs, which are supposed to go in here. But not sure about that one. Banana plug goes in here. I got to study the instructions because I've used Fluke meters for quite a bit, and I'm used to test leads like this and the little slip-on clips, but that still don't. Not sure. These are the probe protectors. But you probably need a different set of test leads because this here takes a banana. This is a banana. And I'm a banana, and not knowing what the hell I'm doing. There used to be a guy at the dishwashing place back in the hygienic days. He used to call everybody banana. Ah, you're just a banana. We used to call him Joe Banana. But I'm a banana. I don't know what the hell this is all about, but I'll figure it out like everything else. What do you expect from a dumb hillbilly anyways? You know? But I sure do appreciate it. It's a wonderful meter. We may retire my Fluke 73 over here, which has always been my reliable meter. This is the one I got from the ham auction that I won a few years back. And this one I got as a gift for one of my viewers. So I like this because it's got a big screen on it. But I might be using these 2 jewels here on the bench. But I'm not sure yet. Never going to have enough. Never can have too many meters. So thank you, Dave. This banana man here will figure out the leads on this. But the meter itself is pretty easy to use. Like I say, the only thing I'm concerned with is what voltage limit can I put in this. I'm sure it'll tell me in the book. And with books, I got to study and study and study and read them over and over and over. I always did, even in school. I cannot absorb anything else. I keep trying. Once I start using something, that's fine. It's like the digital oscilloscope. It's going to take me years to learn how to use that, and I'm afraid I won't be alive by then, but I will give it my best, and that's all I can do. But thank you very much, Dave. This is tremendously appreciated. And let's move on to the next item here. By the way, this is the Knight 600 that I got. It works, but it's very confusing on the gas test. I've been shown how to do it, but to test the older tubes, and to tell you the honest truth, I really don't use it. It's an emission tester, of course, but there's nothing wrong with that. I got all the setup books and charts and everything inside here, including the books I got off of eBay, set up and everything. And in here, some more tube data and setups and stuff. Okay, so that's the setup books and stuff for this Knight 600 series tube tester. And like I say, it does work. But I don't use it because it's a little confusing with the levers and stuff like that. And there seems to be some differences in the roll chart, which I have with it. And they say it's updated, but the way I look at it, the tube tester came with the roll chart. That's what you should use. But there is some differences in it, but the biggest thing is the gas test. It's very, very confusing to use. But tester works good. I'm going to give it to Dan if he wants it, but he has to pick it up. Okay, let's move on. So for now, I got the 600A over here. This is where it's going to be used, and I've got another light over here that I can put on by way of the switch here, and I can see very well to test tubes. And yes, I'll be standing, but at least I don't have to hunch over so much. And it's an ideal condition. When I made these shelves and bench and stuff, this was the original idea of keeping a tube tester here to use. And now if I need to use my B&K 606, which tests the newer tubes, all I got to do is put the cover on this, which I probably will anyways. I just haven't done it yet. And then set that on top. Okay, we have on the bench here the bench vise, panel vise. I've seen these. They bolt to the bench. What bench? This is a bench? There's no darn room at all on here. But anyways, what this does is you can rotate this. Very handy for working on stuff. I have a older vise, I don't know where it is right now, that I had no room for, so I put it away, but I like this. But I really can't bolt it down to any certain spot because it depends on where I'm going to be. But I'll think of something. I might even come out here with a temporary extension if I need to, and then removable, because I have to be able to get at this drawer over here. So the shop is really, really crowded. But I want to thank you again, Dave, for this. So let's move on to the next item. These little dental picks. Terrifying to think about the having these in your teeth. Little tiny screwdrivers, precision, and a little handle to go with it. That's a very nice little thing to have, and we're definitely going to find a place to put that in the shop here somewhere, because things get lost here. Here is a Thermion kit. I guess that's how you pronounce it. This is something way too small. I can't work with it. It's a little tiny speaker in there. Kit. This is one of them that I'm going to be sending, most likely to Doug. Well, we'll see about that, because we're going to grab some other stuff together. We're not just sending them that one. We'll probably send them a couple others if I can find them in the box of stuff. This is a huge solder sucker. I use the my desoldering thing here, which I like, but I'll probably use this. I never had one use this size of desoldering tool before, and a lot of times they don't work too good for me, but we'll see. Time will tell. All right, the next items. Dave told me this is the real deal. These Ziplocs, I never can tell when they're open or closed. It was, I don't know, I can never open these things. That's what I do, I just tear them open. That's all. They don't open, that's one way of getting them open. He says that this is the real deal. Zoom spout oiler. You go to my local hardware store, they don't even know what I'm talking about. Or turbine oil, they don't know what I'm talking about. And I know I went there years ago, but I've got some Zoom oilers. But it don't say Zoom spout, but it's the same exact thing. But Dave told me this is the real deal, so we're going to keep this in the shop here. And now we've got Deoxit D5. So we always got, I'm always off camera all the time. Always good to have another extra. Nuvis number 2. I have no idea what these are. I just seen guys that do cabinets, mainly Buzz 1151. I don't know what they are. I have to read up on them. And number 1, Nuvis number 1, Nuvis number 2, and Nuvis number 3. So I have no idea what they're used for, but whatever. I guess we lost a few pieces out of here, but they're all here. Yellow, black, and red binding posts that go with this. Off camera again. I got such a tiny bench I can't get the camera back far enough. This is one of the items I will probably send to Doug and or Bob. I don't have Bob's address, but I sent him to Doug, and if Doug wants to send it to Bob, he can, because as far as I know, he's one that of my people I'm subscribed to that makes kits and puts kits together. So I they can fight it out amongst themselves as to who gets what. And a super stereo ear, and this is something I think am I in camera? Yeah, something I think Doug would probably like. And like I say, I'm going to mail these out. Not saying when, but I will get them out because they do me no good. I can't work with this stuff. Even 40 years ago, I would be struggling working with this small stuff. 40 years ago, I used to work with perf boards. Those are a little easier for me to see, but now I can't do any of that. So, as it stands now, these 3 items, I got to put that back in. These 3 items here are going to go to Doug. Replacement tips, Weller replacement tips, and I think it might go to this. I'm not sure. Scotch 33 electrical tape. Now I had 2 rolls of this. I bought at Jewett City about 3 or 4 years ago for $1, and they were outside in the sun. I bought it from that guy that has all the tools, and I had to throw it away because it wouldn't work. And this here, oh, this is good. This is good stuff. The stuff I got Scotch 33 from Jewett City in a plastic case, but it didn't stick anymore. It came off funny on the roll and it wouldn't stick. I've used it on some things and it just fell off. So this is a real good roll here. Thank you, Dave. I'm going to put that right in my drawer because that's something I can use. Now this is cute. That is a miniature ratchet. That is a miniature ratchet. I've never seen one like that. And some of these little bits, I've got some of these, and they're very handy. Especially the Phillips, because they seem to fit better than this. And this is a good Phillips. Because when I use this, like on that 600A tube tester, it was slipping a lot. Using these bits, they usually fit better. And a set of these little brushes, which I've got also. They're not wire, they're bristle, I guess, but this is what I use for tube testers, sockets. But they say that the metal ones clean better, but this is great. You put a little deoxide on the brush and you go in and out of the tube socket, depending on the size socket pins you want to clean. So they're a very handy thing to have. Got to revisit this here again. Upon a close examination with magnification, this is a deoxide product, and I did not know that. I never heard of these things. Apparently, it's a battery and contact rejuvenator, so we're definitely going to hang on to that. We're not going to give this one away. So, all right, apparently this is the material here, the stuff in here. Now, whether that's the same as the Deoxit D100 or whatever it is, that I don't know. But because it's made by Deoxit, I guess we will definitely hang on to it. Upon examining these here, apparently it's plastic scratch remover. So we'll hang on to those too, because you never know. Well, we have on the bench here, before we do that, we'll show you the alignment tools that I was showing out of the box. A lot of that stuff you couldn't see, that's why I took snapshots of it. Some small alignment tools, which will come in handy. Here we have a Hickok soldering station, and I believe this is the business end of it. Again, I have to get my magnifier out. Yes, this is the business end of it. Now I have a soldering station working very well. One of my viewers, when I first opened the shop, again, I don't recall his name because I got his name wrong once, and he got a little upset at me because I'm terrible. I call people by the wrong name. So I apologize again, but I appreciate everything that people have sent me in the past. But, you know, you can't remember everything, and I usually write down notes and stuff. Anyway, so we're going to do, we got the soldering, this is the setup for it. Alright, we got a whole bunch of Hickok tips. So let's get this plugged in, and I'll probably end up knocking my camera over, plugging it in. Up, enter. I'm not sure what that's all about, but let's see if we got a power plug on this. Yeah, my power switch rather. Okay. I don't remember what I had mine set for. I assume it's Fahrenheit. That's all we use here in the U.S. Don't use Celsius. All it does is confuse things. I'm really not sure. I didn't see a book with it, but there could very well be a book. There's still a lot of stuff in the boxes that I have not gone through yet. So, let's see. The tip is hot. Oh, yeah. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Doesn't seem to do anything when I push the buttons. Not sure. Keep hitting the wrong button on this JVC. I don't even know if I'm in focus. Well, I guess it's 450 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't really know, but it's melting the solder good. This says up, and this says enter. Not sure what that means. Not sure what that means. Not sure. All right, let's turn it off. I got to get the instruction book on this. As it works different from the one I have on the other side of my bench, which I use on a daily basis. So, I'll be right back. This is the model number of it. I'll refer to the video and then see if I can get a user's manual. But before I do that, I want to check the box on it, because I'm not sure how to work. It doesn't tell you. I hope that's Fahrenheit. It doesn't even tell you. There's no F or C after it. So I'm assuming it's good old Fahrenheit, which is what I go by. Celsius means nothing to me, and I don't use it. So, okay. Well, I reached in and this is wide open. Well, it burns like hell right now. I'm not sure what goes in here. Probably one of them sponges. But I also got another one of these, which is very handy, because the one I have is pretty well worn out and loaded with pieces of solder all over the place. So this is a very nice soldering station. But where am I going to put it? I don't know. We'll find someplace for it. Well, there's a bunch of Hickok tips. I'm not sure if this goes with the Hickok or is this for the nuts on the Weller. I have a Weller gun. These look like light duty tips, but they're very handy because I don't have any at all. So I'll put this with my Weller gun, but I'm not sure whether this goes with the Hickok. I gotta get the user's manual on this. And there's a fuse here, so I would probably say, because this is a little tiny fuse here, you may be able to see that. That's in there with that little wrench, kind of an unusual looking wrench. You can probably see it a little better on this side. I would say that goes with the Hickok. So what we're going to do is we're going to put, we got 1, 2, that one's empty, 3, 4, 5 tips for the Hickok. Alright, so we got the Hickok tips and that little wrench all together. The Weller we'll put with the Weller gun. I gotta hand hold this because look at the bench. I couldn't show any of this stuff too good on a video, but this is shielded wire. Vintage shielded wire, and I have no idea. I would almost say it is tone arm wire, but it moves fairly easily. It's flexible, but it may not be because they use like a tinsel wire. It's very, very flexible and impossible to solder to. Or they use super thin wire, and this would be, I can't read that, can't see that, I should say. It looks like a red and black. Now, whether this is stereo tone arm wire, that I don't know. I probably will never use it, so I may give it to one of my viewers that would use it. This is what I was told by Dave, that this is some kind of a plastic cutter for opening up plastic things which you have a hell of a time opening. And upside down, of course, naturally, of course. Zip, something or other. Packages, I guess, like this, only these are easy to open. You just bend them back here, but you get these packages, you buy things in a store and it's sealed up so tight that you have to take a single edge razor blade and go all the way around and cut it to get stuff out. I think that's what this is for. If I understood him correctly, he emailed me and told me what this was. This is a Hickok universal oscilloscope probe. I'll probably never use this, but it's brand new. Trying to do everything one-handed. I'll tell you, honest to God, I don't know how Shango does it. Aluminum tube, it's a probe. Got your coax here, and the rest of your material in here, unused. Brand new in the box. I'll never use it, but somebody that's got a vintage Hickok could probably use it. I have no idea what this is. Keep away from children, danger. That's all I see on it. What the heck is it? That's weird. What the heck is that? It's all solid. Oh, it's magnetic. What the heck is it? Anybody got any ideas? It sticks to my screw on the bench here really well. Very strong. What the heck is that? I mean, I know it's a magnet, but what's it for? Safety cap pushed down. Made in China, of course. Keep away from children. No idea. Anybody got any ideas? There it is, stuck on my speaker grill in the capsule. Alignment tools. I showed earlier on a snapshot. This appears to be a 6AL5, but it's silicone in place. And I'm not sure they got a neon bulb underneath it, or an LED of some kind, because they wouldn't have a little transformer to light up the filament of the tube. So we cover up the sensor here, and there we go. That's cute. And of course, this is a little close-up of the X-Acto knife set here. Now I got an X-Acto knife, just this part with the blade on it, but I don't have all the other blades. So they're very handy to have. Nice little wooden case. And these are the capacitors. Maybe a little closer look at them. They are 100 volt capacitors, which appear to be ceramic discs. And what is 1,000 volt caps? I thought it was 100. Oh, 1,000. See what happens if you got bad eyesight? That's handy. If there were 100 volts, I'd give them away because I don't work with small stuff, but yeah, that's good. Okay, this is the tester that was off screen as all the other items out of the large box that I opened up yesterday. And it's got the leads on it, you know, the other black leaders hanging down here. I don't know what this is. Clamp meter, 100 amp, 1,000 volts. I don't seem to have the book on this. I haven't seen a book on it, so I could probably look it up. A T5 1000 electrical tester. Volts, amps, ohms. AC amps. Okay, so I guess you put it that didn't make any difference, did it? Huh. What's this? Oh, that's a hold. Okay, that's a hold control. Then when you measure AC current, you have to break the line and get one conductor. But I'm not sure. This is a AC clamp meter. Well, I really can't say it's a clamp meter. I got to look it up because I'm going to be saying something that is not true. I have never seen a DC clamp meter. I don't think they make them. I'm not aware of them. Every clamp, I've got two. One real old one, analog, Craftsman, that's an AC clamp meter, and I got a newer one that I bought at Home Depot probably about 6-7 years ago. But they're all AC clamp meters, and this is AC also. So, but I'm not sure how that's supposed to work. This is
red insulating varnish, like I say, that I used to use on flyback transformers years and years ago. GC, or General Cement, made these. We used to sell these at Aikens Electronics. Looks like some solder in there. And definitely would be very useful. Closer look at the capacitors and so forth. This is a GC. This might have come out of the big orange alignment tools, because the tip of that is very small. What I did is I put the Knight 600 in here, but I'm not mailing it out. This is the night tube test I want to give to Dan of Cool Blue Lights, if he wants it. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, so I don't see any books or anything, so I think we're done with that. And what I'm going to do is put the box for the tube tester in here and leave it in the shed here so I can keep my Hickok 600A where the Knight was. Okay, I took go outside here a little bit. Pretty much showed you these. I read them off, you really didn't see. But this is the little tester that I was off camera, of course, trying to show you. It's a continuity tester, and it appears to be in its original box. And there's an 80 and an 83 here. So we've already gone through all this. So for now I'm going to leave these tubes in the main shed because I don't have any room for them. I have to make room for the tubes and put another smaller box to put these tubes into. That's going to be just about wind this video up here, folks. No room on the bench to do anything. You know, I can't bring this in the house. And it'll be a damn shame if I shove this into the big shed. It's going to get ruined. It's going to get mildew. It's going to stink of mustiness. I should try to sell this, but that's at least 30 pounds. And I try to lift that damn thing, bringing it to the ham auction. It probably will not sell, and I'll have to lug it back. I also have down here a 60 amp trip light 12.6 volt power supply that I will never use. It has 6 past transistors. They have been replaced. The only thing I disconnected was the crowbar circuit, the SCR, because I didn't want to take a chance and have it short those transistors out. It puts out exactly 12.6 volts at 60 amps. Never use it. I'm not in ham. I bought it at Jewett City years ago, and I probably have a video on it. Anyways, on the last item here, these are Sprague 500 volt caps. Ceramic discs. These are I'll definitely hang on to these. Ceramic discs don't go bad. Not sure what the status of this is, but that is it. I have not found any book on the Hickok, so I am going to look that up. The Regal is going to be a huge learning curve for me. And that's going to be a while. Things like this, I have to spend a lot of time to study them, so we'll do that in time. At this time, I am unsure whether I'll go to the ham auction or not, because I don't want to bring any more stuff home. I can't do that. I can't. So what I don't see won't bother me. I'd rather spend the money on other things and for the postage to send some of these items out, small items out, as I promised I will do. So I'm going to end this video at this time. You can see I got no room. If I took and got rid of this, I'd be able to get out my S86 Hallicrafters in the back, which I'm not able to use now. Yes, this is nice to use. It's temperamental on the white Molex plugs. Sometimes it works, other times the display goes fluey. Comes and goes. Yes, I was told I should get rid of the oscilloscopes. But first of all, I don't even know how to use the digital oscilloscope. And I love analog, it's so much easier to use. And they got a much faster, you can read waveforms much better on an analog scope. They're clearer and faster in response and resolution and so forth. But if I was to take this, which I got years ago and restored, it's still not a perfect. This don't come out, it's locked in there somehow in corrosion or whatever. If I was to take this and putting this to the ham auction, I'd probably get $5 for it. It isn't worth risking lugging it all down there, finding out that it ain't gonna go, maybe won't sell it all, or go in the trash. I will not let anything like this go in the trash. Then I got the Tektronix 521, which I restored and replaced the capacitors in. It works, but like anything else, it's a 5 megacycle scope. This is the 5 megacycle scope. This is a 20 megacycle scope, which I like, and it was a bad channel and I fixed it. It was a bad solder connection on the board. It's very rare that I'm able to fix it, but I did that years ago. I kind of like to hang on to that one. And back here, the Tektronix 465B has a dead B channel, but otherwise works good. I never use. This is busted, and I have a part scope that's the same way because the people that stand these things on the face ruins and bust the knob, the shaft and the control and knob busted off. But I don't use that feature on a scope anyways. I use a scope for general waveform checks. You know, voltage, peak to peak, stuff like that. I don't need all these complicated controls. This scope here Mike gave me, my buddy Mike, who I haven't seen since COVID. I don't even know if he's still around. He used to help me with the ham test as far as applying for a new license renewal and so forth, but as I said, I'm not going to do that. So even this is a little intimidating using, but I only use one channel on these scopes. So anyways, that's it. I've talked too long. I wanted to show you all the items, and in closing, I want to say, once again, thank you very much, Dave, for everything, and I appreciate all the kind comments and words from my viewers to Dave for doing this for me, and even for me, saying that I deserve this. Well, I don't think I do. There are guys that are much, much, much more knowledgeable on things. I'm just a tinkerer. They keep saying that this scope is easy to use. That's like trying to learn trigonometry, and I failed basic math. So take it from there. So anyways, that's it. But in closing, as I started to say, Dan of Cool Blue Lights, I want you to have the Night 600. I'm not sure if I was told it's a 600, not a 600A, but whatever. It works. It's a little confusing setting up the gas test. I guess if you do it enough times, it works quite different than any other tester I've had. And I don't really need it now that I got the Hickok 600A, and I still got my old 1939 Radio City Products 308 tube tester, which, for what it is, works quite well. Okay, so that is it, folks. That concludes this video. It's another long one for you to bore you to death. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.